Now bring on our guest speaker, Brother TAJ BEY. Brother Taj, I met Brother Taj 10 years ago. He and I have been working together since then. Today's lecture is titled Driver's License Identification Fraud. Right now I bring you, as you all know, Brother TAJ BEY.
Islam Moors. Most of you are already familiar, but those who are not, take a pencil and pen and take some notes. Because we're here today to assist in solving some problems. And one of the problems is the misconception of what a driver's license is and what it's used for. The fraud of a driver's license is not in your interest. When they gave you that driver's license, it was to incorporate you as a corporate person, was not an instrument for identification. Is everyone aware of that? You're aware of that? Everyone aware of that? What we have to do as free Moors is begin a process and a consciousness amongst the people to neutralize that instrument. Some of us use it now because of whatever purposes, to transport, etc., but understand that it's a commercial instrument. It is not your identification, your pedigree, bloodline, anything like that. And you'll notice that all driver's license have it, the nomen written in all capital letters, which you all know, which indicates a corporation, an artificial person, an instrument. All right. Now that instrument comes under excise tax. And excise tax is a system that is set up for corporate activity and for taxing corporations in the capacity of having a privilege or benefit of operating in a corporate capacity, i.e. dealing with mercantile instruments or products of merchandise, sales, etc., and the movement of those things. Now, one thing that you must recognize, and I know you do recognize, are you that? Is anyone a movable instrument? Did somebody manufacture you? Are you a living, breathing being, thinking being? Yes. Well, what the driver's license does, it identifies or tags moving property. And you must understand that. And the reason I'm telling you these things, and the reason we're doing this particular lecture, is because if that's not addressed by the people on a serious matter, it will be used, as it has been used, to profile you, to extract revenues from you as chattel property. And most people are under the impression that slavery in the Union State Society had ended. Well, the driver's license is one of the major instruments that is used politically to sustain slavery. The principle is dealing with electricity, the element of electricity, and the element of water. And water promotes life. And all things in this particular atmosphere needs water to live. And all things are electrical. All things are electrical. They have a certain amount of electrical current going through them. And the principle of currency is based in that, what they call money. And when you look at money, you look at the energy of the three major planets in our solar system, the sun, the moon, the stars, as you see in the Bible, the Quran, WASPI, ancient Sanskrit text. It always says, I leave these signs for you, the sun, the moon, the stars. This is the center of your universe. This is the center of civilization. You look at the economies of the moon, which governs the womb of woman who brings all of us here. You look at the moon revolving around the earth 13 times a year, and the earth revolving around the sun 12 times a year. The energy that relates to these three spheres cause the seasons, it causes the winds, it causes the tides, and it causes your heart to beat in cosmic rhythm. And it causes woman to bring us here. All these effects are there. And in the symbology, you deal with the earth, or you take the E of the earth, and you take the energy of the moon, and you take the moon and you put E on it, and that interaction of that energy is what money is. The alchemical metal for the moon is silver, and the alchemical metal for the sun is gold, which is why the monetary system in civilization has always been based on the moon and the sun, or the crescent and the star. And so your 4-quarter moons make up your 100% or your 360-degree dollar, or the whole. It's broken down in 4-quarter moons with 4 silver quarters that represent that moral and ethical principle that the dollar is based on, and it's ancient, it's not modern. Our violations of those divine principles caused our fall. Isonomy is the principle of equal rights and service to all the citizens in society. By us violating those laws, we fell. The Europeans took our science, our mathematics, our master astrology, and ruled the world. We took on his idol god religions and fell. That's what your problem is. It's not emotional, it's not racism, it's scientific. So you must understand the instruments that are used to maintain the enslavement, because the slave can't be maintained because it's against nature. So the slave must be invited to participate in that construct. A license is an agreement construct for you to stop your waters. Now, from a scientific perspective, if you're going to kill a river and some people live below the flow of the water and you want to take their land, what is one of the things that you do politically in order to stagnate their development and growth? You build a dam, don't you? And you start regulating the water, right? And when you regulate the water that flows free produces fish, feeds the wildlife, nourishes the land, moves the sediment according to the moon to keep nutrients going to the land. When you stagnate it, then you get mosquitoes, leeches, and everything, and the water gets black, doesn't it? And you call it death, don't you? And you can talk that person into selling that land for a little bit of finance, or you can starve them out, can't you? It's called movement. So water that stagnates is called dead water, isn't it? But water that flows is called living water, isn't it? The license is based on that. It is to stagnate your flow. If you can stagnate the flow of a people, you can stagnate their economy. And if you can stagnate their economy, you can stagnate their life. If you stagnate their life, you control their family with just that instrument, and you stand back and just reap in the benefits. That's what the license is for. If you didn't know it now. And you need to examine it for what it is. Now, anyone who has a license, pull it out your pocket right now. Let's examine it. Any instrument that they've given you, that they've called a license. Islam says. Now look on the front of it, and it has a picture that represents you. Correct? And then it has some phonetic writing on the front that sounds like the name that you have, but that's not you. The picture can't represent you, and the name does not represent you. That name represents a private corporation, or what they call often a straw man too. You notice that grammatically it's incorrect, correct? Why is it incorrect? What did you learn? Let's look at this, and feel free to speak up too. What did you learn in 3rd grade grammar?
Capitalize your nouns.
You capitalize nouns, correct? If you don't capitalize a noun, then it must not be a noun, am I correct? But if all the letters are capitalized, it's not a proper noun, is it? It's grammatically incorrect if it's directed at a person, correct? Why do you think that was done? Do you think it's accidental? What occurs, you had that and you don't object?
You agree to it.
You agree, you waived, didn't you? And when you waive, you assume that that's you, don't you? And even when they write letters to you in response where they're suing you, and tickets are suits, if you didn't know that now. If you get a ticket on that instrument, it's a suit. They're suing you. And they're suing you for breach of contract. Are you aware of that? All right. And a summons is not a warrant, but there's treated accordingly, isn't it? Because it's chattel property. Do you understand that? Now, what I want you to be thinking about right now